Good evening, I'm Rena Ninen. There's no deal in sight. The government will likely remain partially closed until after Christmas. The Senate adjourned today with no solution, and lawmakers aren't scheduled to meet again until next Thursday. President Trump doubled down today on his demands for a border wall, firing off a series of tweets writing, "We fight for the borders of other countries, but we won't fight for the borders of our own." Meanwhile, multiple agencies remain shuttered, and hundreds of thousands of federal workers are either being furloughed or working without pay. Ed O'Keefe kicks us off from Capitol Hill.
The next scheduled session will be on the 27th of December.
Congress started leaving town today with no resolution to the partial government shutdown.
We pushed the pause button until the president, from whom we will need a signature, and Senate Democrats, from whom we will need votes, reach an agreement.
At issue is funding for about a quarter of the federal government. President Trump is insisting on $5 billion for a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border, but Democrats continue to buck his demands.
President Trump is demanding billions of dollars for an expensive, ineffective wall that the majority of Americans don't support.
He said the Mexicans would pay for this wall. We all thought that was blarney. In fact, it was blarney.
Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz is a close ally of the president.
And do you acknowledge that if you don't get it done now under full Republican control of Washington, it may not happen ever?
I think that the president has the wherewithal and the staying power to hold firm to his demands for $5 billion for border security.
With top leaders barely speaking to each other, rank and file members are left to mostly watch and wait.
Most of that work is done and has been done for months. All the argument's been about these final few dollars dealing with border security.
With an impasse on Capitol Hill, other parts of the government began shutting down, including top Washington tourist sites.
Due to a government shutdown, the historic site, which includes our theater, museum, and Peterson House, will be closed for daytime visitation.
Other attractions, including the National Zoo, remain open, at least for now.
This is the third government shutdown of this calendar year and the fourth since Republicans retook control of Congress in 2011. A shutdown back in 2013 lasted 16 days. This one could be on track to last much longer. Rena?
So, Ed, what's the political calculus if this shutdown runs until January, when the Democrats actually take control of the House?
That's a good question, and that's why it could run a while, because, of course, on January 3rd, a new Congress begins. So they've got to rip up the legislation they're working with right now and write new legislation. At that point, Nancy Pelosi and Democrats in the House will have to draft the first bills to reopen the government. They might tuck in some of their priorities and then have to negotiate with President Trump. And that is what could make this a long shutdown.
All right, Ed O'Keefe coming to us from Capitol Hill. Ed, thank you very much.